Closing 10K to 100K offers in the DMs without a single sales call comes down to one system. I call it the inbox close, and I personally close deals as big as $100,000 with no sales calls and help hundreds of business owners add 50K to 300K a month to their businesses using the DMs. And what I've noticed when looking at others trying to sell by chat is that they trip over the same 4 mistakes. But the good news is that each one is simple to fix the moment that you can spot it. So in this video, I'll walk you through all 4 mistakes and the exact fix for each one so that you can close deals as big as 100K in the DMs without dragging every prospect onto a sales call. So the first DM mistake is a big one. It is called the helpful DMer. If you do either of the 2 following things, you know that you are making the helpful DMer mistake. First, you send leads a message like, "I'd love to work with you," or "I can definitely help you." Is that a good DM? Well, first, what do you think the other person hears when they read that sentence? Most people would say it feels vague and salesy. Some might think that you've already decided that they're a fit, and others might think that you're about to send them an offer, or that you just really need the sale. When you say "I'd love to," what they hear is "I'd love to sell you," so their guard goes up. And when you sell in the DMs, you cannot assume that somebody is a fit before you have even asked them anything. It's one of the most common things that I see people get wrong. And if you sound like you want the sale before they've even told you what they need, then everything that you say next starts to feel like part of a pitch, and that sales pressure is why good leads stop replying. So stop telling people that you'd love to help them or that you can definitely help them. And then the second way to know that you're being a helpful DMer, let's say the lead tells you their goal and you then immediately start coaching them. Well, what reply are they supposed to send after reading all of your advice? Now, some people might start saying thank you, they take the free advice and then they leave, whereas others might then ask for even more free help, and others are going to feel overwhelmed, they don't know what to say, and then they stop replying altogether. This is why coaching and consulting inside the DMs kills so many sales. So let me show you how to fix it. Let's say a lead comments on your post or they message you about working together. "Thanks for reaching out. Now, I'm not 100% sure if I can help you yet. What's the specific goal that you have so that I can see if we might be able to help? I'm happy to point you in the right direction if I'm not the best person to assist." With that message, you did 2 things right. First, you're trying to understand them rather than telling them that you can definitely help them because you don't know if you can help them. You aren't coaching them because they are not yet your client. And second, you ask them an open-ended question because open-ended questions get people to open up. And those 2 things, understanding them instead of pitching and asking them instead of telling, are exactly what every single DM needs to do. It sounds like a normal human and it guides the conversation towards the next answer that you need. Because when you do that, the person reading the message, they feel relaxed and they know exactly what to say back. So you need to think about the messages that you send in the DMs like the bumpers on the edge of a bowling lane. The best closers always know where they want the conversation to go, and they choose each question that they ask based on the answer that they need before moving to the next step. So before you send any DM, run it through a quick checklist. First, ask yourself what you actually want them to reply. And second, make sure that you've asked one clear, open-ended question, because remember, open-ended questions get people to open up. And third, ask yourself, does this sound like a friend who happens to be an expert, or does it sound like a salesperson that's chasing a commission? Because if it sounds salesy, if it starts coaching, or if it doesn't make their next reply obvious, rewrite your message and go again. And if you want a faster way to know exactly what to send at every stage, download my exact DM scripts using the link below. That's in the description box, and I put them together so that you can get the exact questions that we use to move people from their first reply all the way through to the payment in the DMs. Now, the second mistake when selling in the DMs that people make is becoming the over-explainer DMer. This is where you send 10 paragraphs, you send 3 voice notes and a mini presentation, and then the prospect still asks, "Can we jump on a call?" Now, more explanation does not create more certainty in the DMs. In fact, usually it creates more friction. Closing deals for $10,000 or more inside the DMs isn't about explaining more. Instead, what you need are 2 inbox closer assets. Now, the first asset is one clear document that breaks down what your offer is. So instead of starting your offer document from scratch, what you do to build it is you take transcripts from sales calls where somebody had actually bought the offer, and ideally then group conversations from the same type of ideal client, upload them into AI, and then ask it to identify the recurring problems, goals, and objections, and the exact phrases that got someone to make a buying decision. So instead of using AI to invent a sales argument, you get it to extract and organize the argument that has already converted the sale repeatedly. From there, you put the sales argument into a document that makes their problem, their transformation, and the process that you will take them through easy to understand. And once that's done, the second asset is one short walkthrough video that does the explaining for. So you take the offer document and you record yourself walking through it as though you were speaking to one clearly defined ideal client. Just imagine that that person is sitting right in front of you, because you want to keep this video 5 to 8 minutes, and then you film that video once and then you sell with it again and again. Now you're not recording a new video for every single prospect. You film it once and then you only ever send it to people who are actually ideal clients. And because they're struggling with the pain that you call out so clearly in that video, they feel like the entire presentation was made for them. And if a qualified prospect still needs another essay or a sales call to understand what you sell after they watch that video, then you do not have a repeatable DM sales process, meaning that your offer is not clear enough. Now, let me show you what goes inside each asset, starting with the offer document. And you won't need to memorize all of this because I'll show you where to get a full example in a second. Now, the offer document begins with the problem written in the buyer's own language. Then you widen the gap by showing why now is the time to solve it. And after that, you explain why you're the authority to help. Those first sections should make the right prospect feel understood before you ever describe your program. Next, you show one clear before to after transformation, and you explain what your offer is and what it is not, who it is and who it is not for, and the benefits and expected outcomes, and then the main pillars. Then make it clear what you do, what they do, how delivery works, and what risk reversal applies, or why you don't have any risk reversal. Now, those are the 8 core elements inside your offer document. And don't put the price inside the document. The price belongs inside your walkthrough video after the buyer understands the offer and can picture what happens when they join. Now, to see how all 8 elements fit together, connect with me on LinkedIn and DM me the words offer doc, and I will send you an offer document that I've personally used to close millions of dollars inside of the DMs. Then for the walkthrough video, you want to speak with conviction as though the ideal client is in front of you. You basically just do a walkthrough of the offer document, and then right before you get to price, you explain the onboarding steps and you give them a reason to move forward now. And when you do explain the price, make sure to add a bonus for them signing up with you there in the DMs. The bonus should be something that they do not receive if they simply just visit your website and enroll later. So you can phrase the offer like this: when you move forward here, on the back of speaking directly with me, you get the bonus of X and the investment is just Y. And then you tell them exactly what to do. So if you're in, just let me know in the chat and we can get you started with the next steps. And then in that video, just add about 5 minutes of testimonials at the end, and then you want to link your strongest case study video below it. And a quick bonus tip to sell in the DMs way more successfully: organize all of your case studies by client type, problem, niche, objection, and then match the person in front of you with one of the specific testimonials that relate to their exact situation. So we've covered 2 major DM mistakes so far. The first is becoming the helpful DMer, coaching instead of guiding the conversation. And the second is becoming the over-explainer DMer, because the document and video should be doing the selling instead. Now, the third mistake is what happens when the qualified opportunity gets busy or stops replying. And it's becoming the gets ghosted DMer. And if you've ever tried to win clients through DMs, this has almost certainly happened to you. Most busy prospects fully intend to reply, but then a meeting begins, or a client needs them, or their child phones them, or another message pushes your conversation down the inbox. While you assume they lost interest, they simply lost the thread. So they ghost you. And then badly timed or irrelevant follow-up makes your situation worse. That's why we use a ghost-busting hit list instead. Now, a ghost-busting hit list is a list of potential sales opportunities, and every lead stays there until you receive a clear final answer. The rule is really, really simple. Until they give you a clear yes or a clear no, or they stop being a fit, they stay on your hit list. A yes moves them forward, and a clear no removes them. But silence means the opportunity still needs to be worked. Without a hit list, good prospects, they get buried and you forget what they told you and what you should send next. So let me quickly show you good ghost busting. An ideal client tells you that they need more qualified sales calls, as an example. You record who they are, what they want, and their problem. Now, they fit your ideal client criteria. The problem is one that you can solve, and that alignment is what earns them a place on your hit list. Now, after they've not replied for a day, you might send a relevant case study and say, saw this and thought about what you said about wanting more qualified calls. Now, the message isn't asking for their attention, it gives them a useful reason to reply to you. Now, you don't need a large sales paragraph because the proof does the work. Let's say they still don't reply. What you do the next day is you double tap the message where they originally told you that they needed more calls. That then gets their attention back and it doesn't make you look desperate, and that's how you get a busy prospect talking back to you without damaging your status. Certified ghostbuster. Now here's the gets ghosted DMer version. They send one sentence. Just following up, did you get a chance to look? Now this gives absolutely no value and no new reason to reply. All it does is ask the prospect to give you attention. Now the person may still be interested, but because the way you're following up is wrong for the person, it gives them no reason to reply, and it honestly just lowers your status and makes you look desperate, reducing trust, killing the conversation, and it ultimately can put really good prospects off you. So instead, you want to keep a hit list and you want to use value-added follow-up or simply just double tapping a last message that they sent. That is how you close clients for 10K and up inside the DMs. Because one of the rules of being successful in the DMs is being proactive instead of passive. And that brings us on to the fourth mistake, which is becoming the here's the link DMer. Now by this point, you already know that they are a fit and they do have a problem that your offer solves. You also have their attention. So do not let it slip. The here's the link DMer sends the offer and then leaves the chat and hopes that the prospect is going to get back to them. But once they leave the conversation, their attention moves on to something else. And a qualified opportunity can disappear with it. So what actually lifts your close rate is being proactive instead of passive. So don't simply send the link and wait. Instead, create a live viewing window. Keep the chat open while they watch and stay there to guide the decision while their intent is still warm. One sentence works, so just save this and use it again and again. And in a second, I will give it to you. Because using this process, one of my clients closed $105,000 in a single day entirely in the DMs. Because this next part is the part that actually closes the deal. So this is the bit to pay really close attention to. So here is the complete proactive chat open close. It keeps the prospect inside the conversation from the moment that you send the link until they make a decision. So step one is to agree the viewing window. So you ask, do you have 20 minutes now to check out an overview, or would you prefer to review it later? So don't send the link until they have chosen whether they want to watch it right now or whether they want to watch it later. Step two is to hold their attention. So if they can review it now, keep moving immediately. If they choose later, agree to the exact time and then return to the chat at that exact moment. Never accept, I will look at it later as the complete plan. Later is where qualified opportunities disappear. So get the exact time from them, put it on your calendar, go back in the chat at that time. Step three is to prepare everything before the viewing window begins. So you want to grab their email address, you want to grab their phone number, so that again, if they stop replying, you can follow back up with them on another means. Step four is the most important part. When you send them the link to the video we spoke about on step two, say, I'll wait right here in the chat while you check it out, and then actually stay there. Don't disappear into another task. If you're having other chats at the same time, return back into that chat after every message that you send so that you can see if they've seen your message or if they're typing. Now, the document and the video, they do the explaining, but your job is to be there the moment that they have a question, the hesitation, or a buying signal, or to double tap a previous message that they've sent if they stop replying to you. This really is the difference between passively sending a link and proactively having a sales conversation inside of the DM. Now, step five happens around 5 minutes after you send the link to the video, where you literally just send them, how we looking? Because remember, you're already inside the same conversation. Now you're checking two things. Did they actually open the video? And is there a question stopping them from continuing? Now, step six happens if they finish reviewing, but they've not replied, or if the conversation begins losing momentum. You send, and this shows how it works in reality, and then you link the case study which most closely relates to their situation. And because you stayed inside the chat, the proof feels like the natural next part of the conversation, not you following up with them, but is you actually following up with them, trying to get their attention again. And because you're there in the chat with them, you can cover any questions that they have. And the best way to do it is to send them mini testimonial videos from clients who are just like them answering that question. That's why it's really cool if you have a series of short form videos whereby your clients have essentially answered every single potential objection in their own words. And then you can just say, well, here's how it works in reality. And then step seven is to guide the decision. So you don't end that chat with, let me know what you think. Instead, you ask them specifically what questions do you have, and then you ask them whether they're ready or not to get started. Now, if they're not, you ask what's stopping them, and you resolve that point while the chat is still open. And you want to check 4 things. Number 1, did they view the assets? Number 2, do they understand the offer? Number 3, is there an unresolved objection? And number 4, did you clearly ask for the decision? Because if all 4 of those things are handled, the conversation should end with a yes or a no and not vague silence. And that is how you avoid making the 4 mistakes that kill high ticket sales in the DMs. And if you like that, you'll love what I've got coming for you next. First, get the implementation resources down in the description box. You can get the exact DM scripts right there. And if you want the offer doc that we've used to close millions of dollars inside the DMs, send me a message saying offer doc on LinkedIn. Second, what you can do is you can watch my video on how to book more than 10 qualified sales calls a day from the DMs right here. It's going to show you how to generate and qualify enough opportunities to feed the closing process that you just learned.